Good morning, good evening, good night. Wherever you're watching this transmission, it is I, Mike Martins, want to welcome you to another very special, very informative edition of Trends in the Housing Market. And man, we got a lot going on in the work markets, and it is a meltdown! I should be doing the Macarena dance here. Sorry guys, it's been a zoo. There's like a ton of noise upstairs with the kids running around, and my dad's singing, and my dad's version of singing is just yelling, and people knocking on the door every 2 seconds, and it's been like a back and forth thing. But on a good part, there's life in the house. It's alive. Owen's here, always the first one to tune in on Trends in the Housing Market. Dome Data in the house too. I got my new window installed here in the office. Man, is it ever soundproof. Wow, it is super soundproof. It's got incredible technology, and I'm very excited. I'll show you guys. Look at that. Brand new, and it's enormous. It brings a lot of natural light in the house, in my office. And I am very excited about that. Okay, where were we? Trends in the housing market. All right, lots going on. So it's going to be a little bit tough to tackle all the stories that we got, but we got lots going on, and it's a global meltdown. Owen's asking, are all the windows done, Mike? No, I got 3 of them done and 1 sliding door done. I got 2 more major sliding doors to do, and then I got, what else have I got? The garage window, quite a bit of work, right? So the bedroom's almost done, though. I'm going to show you guys what the bedroom looks like. Yeah, man, this is pretty dope. Look at this. It's really nice. The technology is nice, and it slides, too. Both sides slide. So both sides of the window actually slide inwards, and you could have them both open if you want a breeze to come in. It's really nice. Okay, well, back to business here. What are we talking about, people? So much going on. So let's just start breaking this down. I'm just over 9,000 subs. I want to thank everyone for subscribing. And if you want to support the transmission, just go ahead and share one of my videos. You could share them on various Facebook groups. Yeah, you guys could, share one of my videos just to get this out there. Okay, so what are we talking about, guys? Let's get to the housing crisis list. Auckland homes selling at a loss. I covered this last night, and it's already got almost 2,000 views. Auckland, New Zealand right now is selling their homes at a loss. That's what's happening. Because in the article, it actually goes into depth saying person needs to make $300,000, $400,000 a year just to afford an entry-level home. Like crazy level homes, like $1 million, $800,000, $900,000, Oh, lost Canuck in the house. Then we covered the UK property prices rise, but at what cost? But guys, this is a very interesting article because it's kind of a flip article because the prices have been going down for the last 28 months, so 30 months. It's been going down forever, so it gets a little uptick in the market. Everybody thinks the market's going back up. And in New Zealand, do not buy anything. If you're looking to buy in New Zealand, just hold off. They're making it seem like it's a buyer's market. It's not. Okay, guys, just hold off. Talk to professionals. Okay, reality in the American housing market is a really good one. They actually discuss reality in this, and this one's really good. You know why? I'm not going to bring this one up because it's very important, and it's right here. American employee making $20 an hour and the other target employee making $15 an hour. If both people work full-time, that's a household with $70,000 a year income. A household that in that income bracket can service the mortgage on a house up to $250,000 to the $300,000 range. Now, here's the problem, and I've been talking about this, okay? The $70,000 U.S. income, okay, is like $82,000 Canadian. People make that and buy a $2 million house, a $1.4 million house with that same income, when realistically you could only afford $250,000 to $300,000. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. People are buying $1 million properties with this same income level, and realistically in this American article from BNN saying no, you could only afford 250 to 300. Okay, and 70,000 a year, 250, that's almost 4 times your income, right? 300,000, you're going 4.5 times your income. You got to be really careful with that. Walking Journey in the house. Soy Espanol, don't discriminate me. Ho Chi Minh says. Real Kevin Thompson loves this show. Sly Ryan saying, I would never live in Vancouver. Right. But Sly Ryan, the point is not this. The point is people are running to pay $1 million for a condo when realistically it should be a lot less. And people, and not even buying $1 million condo is the problem, is the people make $60,000 a year and they're buying $1 million asset that they can't service. That's what I'm getting to. Regardless where you buy, it's you make X amount to what happened, like what happened. I'm reading the comments here the same. You could only afford X amount for what you could, basically afford to buy, right? So what else is going on here? Okay, Skype. I got people on Skype messaging me. Guys, I just want you to know that I do turn off my Skype during the week. So I've missed, I don't know, like 74 messages here. So guys, relax. If I don't get back to you, it's because I have lots on the go too on the side. So anyways, Market Mornings in the house. Mike has a whole new energy. Love this guy. Love you too, buddy. Dang 008 says just block the Chinese and your problem solved. I'm not sure if he's talking about something in here. Lost Canuck says more walkaways happening. Oh yeah, walkaways are everywhere. Mike is Portuguese. The other day show about the Iberian geography. Of course I'm Portuguese. All right, what's going on? So this is good. This is a really good article because they're warning people. Look, you can't buy a house for more than $250. And you see that house in that picture there? You see this house right in that picture right there? Okay, that house where that place is $250, right? According to this, right? That house in Barrie, Ontario is $890,000. Yeah. But people are paying those prices, and that's the mistake. Sly Ryan saying, Mike, do you think housing will go down everywhere in Canada, or just it'll go everywhere down in Canada for one reason? It's because no one's securing income. Can't secure the financing. Everything's going to go down in Canada, right across the board, only because people just can't secure the financing. Even to come up here to Merritt, you know what I'm saying? I couldn't even secure the financing for the house I'm in because I'm business for self. They wouldn't touch me. So I basically scrounged some money together, moved some things around, sold some stock, and I just bought this house, and that's it. I don't have a mortgage now. Thank God to the bank that actually declined me. Thank you, bank, for declining me. Now I don't have a mortgage payment every month on my shoulders. And I Gary Medeiros in the house. Hey, buddy. Gary Medeiros. Charlie Brown saying, we having some issues here in Australia, Canada, New Zealand. It's all left-wing socialist democracies with a broken cost of living model. That's exactly what it is. It's people believing, why are you telling him he can't afford that house? Of course he can. Interest rates are good. They're practically giving away money. Mike, what are you telling people not to buy? If you listened to me in the last 4 years and you didn't buy, Merry Christmas. Yes, Market Mornings, yes. Stock. I bought a bit of stock today, guys. Early this morning when the markets open, I did buy a bit of stock. Remember, guys, do not listen to me. Do not listen to anything I tell you. I cannot read, and I am illiterate. Do not take any financial advice from me. But I bought a little bit of Suncor this morning. Picked up quite a bit of Suncor this morning, and I picked up Pipeline this morning, the IPL. Suncor's SU, and then I picked up IPL this morning. And I picked up another one that pays out a decent dividends. I'm going to start, guys, my retirement portfolio now. So I'm going to start picking up some really good dividend yielding stocks, guys. I'm done with this buy and sell crap, and it's time to start buying some dividend yielding stocks. I've been looking at marijuana stock. I can't find anything that has a good dividend yield or any dividend yield. I think something's going to happen in Alberta in the next couple of weeks, where I think it might send oil rallying. Oh yeah, I'm gonna buy and hold, guys. I'm not anymore for I'm not anymore doing the whole, yeah. Lord Humongous in the comment section. Yeah. Big Short author is shorting 3 Canadian. Of course he's shorting the Canadian bank stocks. That's the way to do it, man. Canada was too big to fail, and look where it is now. Look where it is today. Okay, let's move on. We got lots of stuff to cover here today. So, like, the Canadian real estate industry is also seeing national price declines. And, again, we're going to go back to this. We go to this every single week. Oh, where's the inventory versus stock level? Come on, where are you? It's not in this one. But look at Vancouver crawling back in 2019. What? That's the benchmark price. Yeah, we're gonna have to go over this. This is kind of important because, okay, I'm getting a lot of notifications here. So this is the benchmark price across Canada. We're gonna hit 2008 levels real soon, people. You're going to see the price of commodities either go nuts or kind of stagnate and kind of go up with the flow, and as our dollar devalues, it's going to get yeah. So I'm going to read this real quick, and I see if I can get the Lost Canuck on, if he's available. Canadian real estate industry is also seeing national price declines. So this is what somebody asked, if prices are going to go across the board. They are. Canadian real estate prices turned negative, but not all markets are suffering. So let's go here. So here's your Canadian real estate benchmark change. We are down. And it's going to keep going down because it's overpriced. The annual pace of growth is showing the declines are getting larger. The 0.4% decline in March increased from a month before. This is the second month of negative annual growth and the largest since 2009. The decline is very small in grand scheme of things, but could be the start of a larger trend worth watching the numbers closely. Here's Ottawa, Guelph, Montreal real estate, the largest gains because everyone's leaving these cities and moving to these cities, and that's plain and simple. It's you could see the migration of people, where they're migrating from and where they're going. They're leaving Vancouver, of course. So benchmark. So here's the Canadian real estate benchmark price. So you got Vancouver's just in and around $1 million now, and at the peak it was 1.1 million. So they're down in and around 100 large. Oakville is at 974. At the peak it was 1 million. Here's your Fraser Valley, where I am in the interior here. 830. 885, so they got a little bit of a haircut. Toronto, 779, 815. Victoria, 683, 696. There's the aggregate right there. There's your Hamilton Burlington, 591, 591. So Hamilton Burlington's holding up. Guelph, 537, 537. They're holding up. Barrie's down. Benchmark price, 460. Down from 532 a year ago. Gallagher, 409. Down from 455 a year ago from its peak. March 2019. March, of course. Ottawa is exactly holding strong. Niagara, holding strong. Montreal's actually up. Montreal's is heading strong. Edmonton, down to 319. Saskatoon, 283, down from 317. Regina, Regina's peak 307, down from 264. Down to 264. What? So here's the real estate price change in a year. So here's the last year. Here you got Ottawa, Guelph, Montreal, Niagara, Hamilton. Toronto's going. So basically, everyone's moving to these top 3 cities here: Ottawa, Guelph, Montreal, Niagara Falls, and Hamilton, because it's still affordable. Now everybody's exodusing these places: Vancouver, Barrie, Calgary, Regina, Edmonton, and Fraser Valley. I know this is not an exodus chart, but it's just the price change in a year, and it gives you a little bit of, because these places are rallying. Sorry, these places somewhat rally when people leave them. When people leave these places to go to these places, and it kind of, you could see it there on the board. And then here is your Canadian real estate change from peak. Oh wow, it's all negative. So this is all negative. So from peak, look at Edmonton. Holy crap. 17% from peak. Regina, 16.51. Barrie, 15 points from peak. Oh, they should put Richmond Hill here. Richmond Hill would be down like 80% from peak. Some smaller urban areas are very far from their peaks. Edmonton is home to the biggest gap, where the price of a typical home costs $319, down 17.18% from its peak price. Regina followed the typical home, falling to $264, and Barrie came in third with $460. Now, you see, right now in Regina, a doctor living in Regina, Saskatchewan, a good doctor, could afford to live now, because it's $261 for a house, $264 for a house, and at interest rates, depending where they're at, a doctor could live a very healthy and comfortable life living in Regina, because you could pick up a benchmark price. But if you're in Vancouver and you bought, like here, showing $1 million, you're not living a comfortable life whatsoever. No disposable income, you're in trouble. You're toast! All right, let's see who we got here. Who we got here? Viva Canada. Sly Ryan saying Steve the Plumber in the house. That's what's happening in BC for sure. Leaving van and moving to smaller areas. No prices are declining. Says Steve the Plumber. Real Kevin Thompson. Entry-level homes are up. Well, entry-level homes are going to always be up. You know that, guys, because that's the most affordable bracket that people could buy in, whether it's townhomes or condos, right? So we need to get the Lost Canuck. I hope he's not in jail. I hope he's okay, the Lost Canuck. You know, he said, man, where is he? I can never find him. Mario, can you message me on Skype, buddy? Oh, here you are. Oh, he said, sorry, he lost power. Is that right now? No, this was last week. Lucky guy loses his power. See if we get the Lost Canuck on, find out what the hell's going on.
Hello?
Yo, Mario, how you doing, buddy?
Not bad. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing phenomenal. What are you up to?
Not much. About to get to bed.
You're going to bed?
Not yet. Not yet. Soon, man. Soon.
Okay, so I guess we'll just have you on speakerphone then, if you don't want to show your tired face?
No, it's not that. I'm trying to figure... Oh, here we go. Here we go.
There we go. We got the Lost Canuck. He's in pitch... Are you in the dark, buddy?
Yeah, I just turned off the light because I'm blind.
Oh, there's the Lost Canuck. There he is, people, ladies and gentlemen.
What's going on, bro?
Oh, buddy, you don't know, man. You have no idea. Just really busy. The family's in town, and it's been really busy here at the house, you know?
Good. The baby, mama's good?
Yeah, everybody's good. Thank you, God.
Yes, good man. So what's going on in here in Ontario? Well, you saw my last video, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Steve the Plumber gave me an update. We were talking, we had a blast last Friday, 3-way. I went to check out that site. There's another one on a town called Churchill. Mm-hmm. Now, that's just south of Barrie, right after Bradford, in between Bradford and Innisfil. It's right on Yonge Street. The builder is First Few Homes at first. And what they did is they selling 14 estate lots. Mm-hmm. 6 to 8 people walked away.
These are people that put down payments?
Yes,
Oh
they
yeah,
put
that's
down.
right. Oh wow.
Yeah, I found out from a big excavating and sewer company that were there. 6 to 8 people walked away for 100 grand deposits. And then another builder purchased the property and is going to be developing, I guess, when they start selling. My question is not just to you, Mike. I know what the reason is, but anybody that's listening to the show, it's amazing how they're hiding all this
I
without
know.
any media coverage, man. I get up every morning. I'm thinking, what did people see, man? Like, are you kidding me?
Did you see
We're the
that?
only putting this out there.
Well, Mario, we've been talking about this. Did you see that American article I read? American reality numbers, where a person making 75,000 US should only buy within 250 to 300,000,
Yeah,
and people with that same income, that 75,000 Americans, like 83, 86 Canadian, they're buying $2 million places.
yeah, yeah. And now, did you see? Steve was calling me yesterday or Monday about the BNN article
He did.
about CIBC analysts or whatever you want to call them, telling we need to take the stress test away.
Yes, Steve mentioned that yesterday. I was going to read that article. I totally blanked on it. I totally blanked.
Yeah, it's a very interesting article. I didn't read it all. I read some of it. But what troubles me is I think what's going to happen, Mike, and like I said from before, there's a lot of pension problem out there, man. It's coming. It's not just housing. That's the root of the problem, but it's not only to live. How are these retirees going to eat? That's the issue we're going to have next.
That's a huge issue. Let me tell you what they're going to start calling this now. Are you ready? They're going to start doing what they're doing in New Zealand. Do you know what this housing crash is?
What's it called?
They're going to call it a buyer's market. They're not going to admit it's a crash. They're going to say it's a buyer's market now. No, it's not.
Yeah.
They're going to start calling it a buyer's market when everything's falling through the floor.
Yeah, that's right. And that's what they're going to do. Exactly.
They're going to say, well, what a great buyer's market, guys. Get in there now. Get in there.
Yeah, get in there and do what at the end of the day?
Catch a falling knife.
Yeah, at the end of the day, are we me and you, are we going to be you could say banned from YouTube, banned from our channel?
Well, they're already deleting so many of my housing videos already.
Yeah, and they're gonna start doing that. And like Gary Medeiros was saying, that his in-laws are pressuring. I guess I wouldn't say pressuring, but they want to push him out to go and buy a house. And
because they did it in the 80s, and they think he could do it now in the 2019 when the average income. Okay, so let's say Gary Medeiros makes 80,000 a year, right?
Yeah.
Okay, with that income, just like that article I just read, you should buy a house between $250,000 and $300,000.
That's right.
And that's right. What it said. And that's true. And that's what I've been preaching on my channel since day one. How much did I pay for my house, Mario? Do you remember?
It was just, you said 3 and change.
$260,000.
Oh, wow.
So, babe, do you know why I bought a house for $260,000?
Because you moved away from the city.
Well, it's not that. It's if let's say one day I have to work. Let's say I have to go back to work one day, or my business doesn't work out, or something happens. It's not hard to maintain this house.
Yeah, exactly. You can go work at Home Depot if you wanted.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying, right? I mean, I don't have a mortgage, but I'm saying like for
You still got to eat.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah. Is the price of food going up in your area?
Yeah, we just my wife and I were just watching something on the news about celery going up to like $5 or $6.
For celery, where's it coming from? Like Brazil or something?
I think they're just blaming on the weather or something where they're getting it. I don't even know. I wasn't even paying attention. They're talking about the inflation of vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I remember you did a video back in the day, and you even showed the garden. I've been doing it last year, and for the last 5 years, I've been growing my own vegetables. I mean, tomatoes and stuff like that.
Yeah,
We got to go.
I'm gonna be planting my garden this year again. I'm gonna do some corn. I'm gonna do some tomatoes. I'm gonna do some. I'm gonna do whatever I could. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So now, bringing up the deposits walking away.
Yeah.
I know Steve was telling us on Friday that this gentleman that bought it put 150 grand down. You did a video on it too, and they're actually suing them now.
Yeah.
This thing here is going to be I'm going to be monitoring it as much as I can and very hard, because depending on the outcome of the courts, if they agree to this to pay the builder, then these buyers should stop buying houses, because not only are you forced to pay something that, if the house is dropped and you closed, are they allowed to sue the builder now?
Yeah,
Like
because remember, I brought it up the other way around, where the builders gave back the deposit and said, go ahead and buy somewhere else because now it's worth more. But then, what about now that the buyer is screwed because now everything went up in price and that deposit doesn't get him anything anymore?
No,
And
especially
that, yeah.
yeah, especially those poor people that bought that condos up in Vaughan area,
Mm-hmm.
where they're now suing the builder. Now the developer went with another developer, and they going to sell it for double the price that the people bought it for. So it's a domino effect, ladies and gentlemen. Pensions are in trouble, and I'm telling you right now, they invested a lot of pension money in the housing market.
Yeah.
If you take 100%, you're looking at 60 to 75% is put into housing market, construction market. That's what they do, especially in all these unions. They implement it, they put it in so they can get a higher interest rate. And I've always said it, after 5% in yesterday's market. When I'm talking yesterday, Mike, I'm talking about 2016 and 17, where you're getting 5% return. That's a safe return, because nobody was getting anything. You go to the bank, you put 100 grand in, you're lucky if you get 0.3%. So now what's happening is everybody was saying, oh, you get 10 to 12%. That's red lights right across the board. So that now you have, oh, this one, Mike, is going to really intrigue you. And I forgot, this is why I called the channel, is my daughter works for Audi. Okay?
Audi, yeah.
Yeah, Audi Canada. She works at one of the dealerships. She just works there part-time. One of her many jobs that she finished university in human resources, and this is the job she's got as a receptionist part-time. But anyway, there's a gentleman that went in, and she says, not the first time, and I'm not here to criticize, please, people. I'm not racist. I don't want to criticize. An Oriental gentleman went in, bought an Audi, paid cash, gave a certified check, paid the car in full. And what happened is, my daughter says, not the first one. She says, I've been there 3 months. It's been the third one, where the police come in the next day. They're actually going to deliver the car on Saturday, and they're going to arrest the gentleman.
Wow.
So this is what I don't understand, is we do not bring out the facts. We try to hide it. We try to brush it away. We pretend nothing's happening, but lots is happening. Lots. Now Alberta's got a premier in there now. He's given them all the promises in the world. Let's see what he does. And the first thing I want to see him do is if he can defeat this carbon tax. That's going to help us in Ontario, because if one starts, the other one's going to follow. And I know Doug Ford here in Ontario is in court with the federal government over it. I know we're going off topic, but it's something I want people to understand. I've been looking into that too. I think, Mike, what's going to happen is, the government put in this legislation. They want to help people buy houses, which...
Yeah, that's another thing. That's a Ponzi scheme they did here in BC, first-time buyer loans. And then they want to bring distressed us back 0.5% or 1%, and they want to slash interest rates to keep this piece of crap artificial bubble going.
Right. So if people have to understand, if they keep the rates the way they are, people are going to have really bad returns on their RRSPs, including every private funded pensions,
Oh,
because
for sure.
without interest, without the rates going up, they're not going to survive the market.
Yes.
And I called it last year. It didn't happen this year or last year, but it's going to happen this year if they don't start smartening up. Like Mike, I said it 100 times. We should have dropped the dollar 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And we could have been in a better shape. We could have raised interest rates. And did you know, Mike, the Americans can drop their interest rates because they're in a safe haven right now.
Yeah.
They're the only nation that can drop rates, people. They can override the Federal Reserve, not Canada, not Australia, none of these countries.
Well, if Australia brought their rates to zero and New Zealand brought their rates to zero, they're still doomed. There's no way out of it.
And that means their currency is going to drop dramatically.
Yeah.
That's the next step. And that's what's going to happen here. And once we have that drop, you see the gas pumps, guys, they blame the carbon tax, but I don't blame it. I think what's happening is they have to carry flow. They're getting everybody prepared of what the gas is going to be at. We're going to be going up to $1.70 in Ontario. If nobody wants to believe me, that's fine. But I know that's going to happen because if the dollar doesn't drop, and it does drop, our gas is going to shoot. Because for us to buy American oil, which we're going to get it from, and Mike, Saudi Arabia is drying up.
Oh, we know that. We've been doing that for the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah,
but the question is, like, I don't know if it was Sweden or Switzerland, one of those countries found a pretty big oil reserve in their country, and they're refusing to drill, and they're not interested in drilling for oil. And I'm not kidding. That was in the news today.
I'm going to give you one I've been researching. There's 2 countries that are going to prosper in the oil. You'll never believe this. I'll be the first one to tell you. The first one's going to be Israel.
Yeah, Israel natural gas, yeah.
Yeah, and the second one's going to be the States. All the companies that you hear, all the drilling companies that are out in the ocean or wherever they are, they're all coming back home.
Yeah.
And I'm telling everybody, you were just talking about stocks, invest. You said it from last year. Mm-hmm. Start buying stocks in oil. Mm-hmm. Good stocks. Do your research, people. Don't listen to me.
Yeah, don't listen to me either.
Yeah, you look up to it, and that's what it is. But like I said, Mike, I'm going to do boots on the ground up in Churchill. There's no houses yet. They just put in the sewers now, but it's not a big site. 14 houses. But when you got, 6 people walking away from deposits, that's a lot.
And what are the estimated down payments, do you think? Like 30, 40 large?
60 grand.
60 large?
60 grand, yep. That's what I heard. I don't know if that's true. 60 grand. So that means if you have East Gwillimbury having an issue, you got them all over. Just that they don't want to publicize it. And I think what's going to happen is a lot of these builders are going to sell these land and develop lots next to nothing just to break even.
Yeah.
We're gonna see these little builders are gonna start going bankrupt.
Oh yeah, the little guys start going first, and then you start getting the big boys buying out some of the little guys too.
That's right.
And all their stock and all their inventory and their employees that are good. And then it just goes down the ladder like that, and that's just how it works.
Yeah, and you're going to see the unemployment's going to shoot by the summer. And summer, this is where we're busy.
Well, a lot of our private sector employment was hinged on construction.
Yeah, that's right.
You got finish, you got cement guys, you got foreman, bricklayers, you got finishers, you got carpenters, you got framers, you got welders, you got plumbers, you got electricians, you got everything under the sun. You got roofers, and that's a lot of a workforce to start to see declines.
Yeah. It's listen, like I said before, I don't want this to happen, but it seems to me the only way we can become a nation of its own roots is to push the reset button.
Oh, we have to. We have no choice.
Yeah,
We've been floating off quantitative easing. We've been selling our futures out. We've been selling our pensions out. We've been selling out everything and anything under the sun just to keep ourselves going. And we even Canada and Australia and those countries were competing for rich investors to keep this crap going. And look where it's got us now.
that's right. And then you got them all running out because Chinese government doesn't want their money to leave their country.
Yeah, they had a massive flow of wealth. China's massive outflows of wealth. They had a runoff on their wealth. They were losing billions and billions of dollars on a daily basis of their wealth leaving their shores.
They're in trouble themselves. They're in the worst shape that they ever been. They've been too greedy, and this is what's happening. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting how the market's going to go. I tell everybody just wait on the sidelines. Did you see Forma Fist's latest video? It's a long one.
I saw it with some pictures of guys on the picture of the video.
Yeah,
there's a couple of pictures to the left side of different guys. Yeah, I didn't see that one. I was going to see it today at the shop, but then I got busy. So many customers came in, and then I forgot.
Yeah, he's talking about 80% drop.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was forecasting more of a 50-60% drop.
But, yeah, I'd say that. But hey, 80% is 80%. He won't be off either because depending, like I said, Mike, we're waiting. We still haven't heard, or maybe the media is not putting it out there. I'm trying to find out about the Sears pension outcome, what's going on there, and the final decision of the courts. And that's an indication of the retailer just collapsing. Pretty soon, we're not going to have shopping malls anymore. It's come to a point where nobody can afford anything anymore. You want to raise the minimum wage? Yes, okay, that's fine. But my problem is, what does it do for the small business owner? Do you give them a tax break? Do you help them out?
Well, Trump gave tax breaks to businesses, and this is helping their housing market right now because Bank of America, places like Target, Walmart, they can afford to pay their employees more money. And this is getting people in those $250,000, $300,000 homes that we were talking about earlier.
That's right. That's what we need. You imagine, Mike, if a house would drop an average in, let's say even Barrie, for 250 to 280, the market would go crazy here. But at the same time, you cannot buy two houses. Yeah. This is where the government's going to step in and say, no, if you're going to buy two houses, you do like what France did. Then when you sell it, you're going to pay 60% tax. Mm-hmm. And that's how you stop this manifested of greed. I call it greed. And I said it from before. My dad did it. I'm not saying he didn't. He bought a couple houses. He flipped them, made money because everybody else was doing it.
Yeah, sure. That's different. But he wasn't laundering money through Canada.
No. And that's when the government has to step in and say, no, enough is enough. This is how we're going to do it. Because right now, I don't know how this is going to get fixed. I really don't know. Do you imagine everybody sitting at home and waiting to get a job? Never mind buying a house. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Never mind real estate agents trying to tell us the market's good. It's a buyer's market.
Well, they're calling it a buyer's market because it's crashing, and they're going to call it that for a good 6 more months.
Yeah, that's right. And the reason why I said it on your thing about September 28th, I don't know if you know that date, or 29th, it's called the Shemitah.
Is it another 2012, the end of the world with the Mayan calendar?
No, it's the Shemitah, meaning the 7th year of every Jewish Hebrew calendar is called the Shemitah, meaning that God writes off all debts.
Okay,
We never done that. So I think what's going to happen is this is the year. This is the year, 2019. The Shemitah will finally capitalize and wipe out everything, credit, everything. And that's what we need. Do you imagine if we started at zero today?
Oh, God. If we started over from scratch, it'd be really good. For a lot of people, it would. But for a lot of people that are in, there's some people that are doing well that got in at the right time, and they don't want to lose everything too, right?
That's right. And I don't want them to. As long as they're people, that's fine. But like I said, you start to capitalize on other people's losses. I'm against that. I always will be.
Oh, did you see that one I did today? I did a video today about insulin, how people are holding back on taking insulin because they can't afford to take it. So they only take so much, and there's people dying in droves.
Jeez,
so what do? They triple the price. The price of insulin went from $30 to $300.
Where's that? Here in Canada?
In the States.
In the States.
So
okay.
These pharmaceutical companies are taking advantage of people.
Yeah. So do you imagine if Hillary Clinton would have won?
Oh.
That would have been $3,000. Never mind 300.
Oh. Hillary, Hill dog. Oh my God! Just when you think you forgot that person, it comes in your head again. You know?
Yeah, I know, buddy. I hear you. But they're probably doing that because they're going against Trump.
Yeah, of course.
Guaranteed.
Of course.
Guaranteed. He's catching everybody. But Mike, you have a great night.
Yeah.
You're listening to Gary Medeiros. Hang in there, brother. And I feel sorry for Gary because he married a wop. I really do. Steve the plumber, he's a loser. Worst plumber in the world. And that's about it, man. You have a good night.
You good
and
night.
We will.
Okay, God bless you, okay?
You too, buddy. Take care, man.
Bye.
Ciao.
Good night. Ciao. So, guys, that's our lost Canuck. In trends in the housing market. I want to thank him for coming on and giving us his important insight on what's happening. So who do we have in the? We got Briggs in the. We got MK. We got Oliver St. Juan. We got eBanQ. We got Steve the plumber, and real Kevin Thompson is always in the comments, here to make a difference. The real Kevin Thompson is always here to make a difference. And we got Cognitive Rue saying debt's jubilee, but pay everyone with debt must pay off debt. Those with no debt get to spend. So we got Dontron 1 in the house. Lord Humongous here. Ho Chi Minh says, I live in Australia, but I'm not Australian. Marc-Andre Moses has been asking a lot in the comments, is Toronto a good place to live? I visited Toronto from time to time. It's completely different from the Toronto I grew up in. If you go back to the early 80s, Mark, and go live in the early 80s in Toronto, I would say go ahead. But right now, when I went to go see my mom, it is a culture shock. It's a huge culture shock. Huge culture shock. So, all right, what's going on? Comments are going nuts. We got over 110. We had 112 people watching. So, guys, if you want to support the transmission, guys, don't forget to share one of my videos. So I'm going to bring this up again because we have over 110 people watching. Nobody click off. I want you guys to see this. This is a video I put up called USA Boom Sustainable. Now, this is very important, and this is what I've been preaching since the day I started doing these videos. On a Bank of America employee making $20 an hour and the other Target employee making $15 an hour, if both people work full-time, that's a household with a $70,000 a year income. A household in that income bracket can service a mortgage of a house of $250,000 to $300,000. That's what I'm talking about. When people say, why houses do you think, Mike, are going to go down to $300,000? Well, because the average person makes $70,000, $80,000 a year. That's why they need to be $250,000, $300,000. If you want to buy a mansion, fine. But you're buying a mansion, but it's $1 million, but you're getting a 12, 15, 16 bedroom and a 10 bath and a pool with a helicopter pad for $1 million. Not a detached bungalow that's falling apart. I don't know if you guys remember that entry-level home I did, that entry-level home video I did in New Zealand. They were trying to promote entry-level $1 million to get in and blah, 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 blah. A 2-bedroom with 1 bath, a great entry-level home. It looked like a trailer, a camper trailer with a cheap veranda in the front, made of wood. And they were advertising it for $1 million as a great entry-level home for a family. What the hell? The thing's probably worth 20 grand tops if it was somewhere in Atlanta. Oh. All right, we got lots of people. Okay, let's go back to what we're doing here, guys. All right. Canadian real estate industry also seeing national price declines. We went over this. Let's move on. We got to jump into Vancouver real quick. Vancouver condos see fewer sales since 2009. Inventory props 131% higher. Woo! 131% higher. Greater Vancouver condo sales are extending losses into the normally busy spring. Real Estate Board of Vancouver, REBGV, numbers show that prices continue to drop in March. The price decline came with the fewest March sales since 2009 and doubled last year's inventory. So what happened to this supply and demand garbage they've been trying to shove down our throats? Oh, my, you know what, Mike? In the comment section, you know what, Mike? It's a supply issue. There's not enough supply to feed the demand, Mike. What are you talking about? Well, I'm talking about the 100,000 empty homes in Vancouver and the other 100,000 empty homes in Toronto owned by foreign investors. That's what I'm talking about. Greater Vancouver condo prices dropped the most since 2009. So prices drop, inventory on the market. What else? The price of a condo apartment is getting cheaper across the Greater Vancouver area. Reports that the benchmark fell to $656,900 in March, down 5.9% from last year in the city of Vancouver proper. The Vancouver East benchmark fell to $547, down 5.2% from last year. In Vancouver's West, the benchmark fell $769,200, down 8.9% from last year. Yup. The benchmark price is down a whopping $75,164 in Vancouver West. Here she goes. There you go. Where do you go, my lovely? Look at that. Where do you go? I want to know. So, price is going to come back down to here. Right there. We got to go back to 2005 levels. Unless everyone's making $300,000 a year, and for some reason I just don't know this. Annual declines appear to be getting a little larger. For condo apartments, REBGV's annual pace growth decelerated by 18 consecutive months. Only 3 of those months were negative, but still a big drop. And there's the largest decline in 2009 are back to 2017 December levels. Ooh, I told you guys 10 weeks ago, 10 shows ago, we're going to go back down. We're going to pass this one right here. We're going to pass March 2009 numbers. Watch. Look at that, man. Greater Vancouver condo sales fall to 2009 levels. Greater Vancouver condo sales fall to multi-year low for the month. REBGV reported 873 sales in March, up 15 points from the month before. Even with the seasonal increase, sales are down 35.3% from last year. The monthly increase is normal, but the annual increase is obviously not. This represents the fewest condo apartment sales for the month of March since 2009. So here is sales versus new listings. Oh my God. These are the listings. Oh my God. Look at the listings, guys. Everybody's throwing on the market right now. We're going to reach May 2018 levels with inventory on the market, and we are, look how low we are. When's the last time we were this low? That right there. January 27, no, a little bit more. Like March 2017, I guess, would be the time right here. Yeah, let me just check here. Like February, March 2017 numbers. Wow. Greater Vancouver condo inventory rises 131%. New listings of Greater Vancouver condo apartments increased last month. REBGV reported 2,224 new listings in March. So there's an oversupply on the market, guys. We've been talking about oversupply for years. Not weeks, years. We were talking about an oversupply in the market. I called it the illusion. Oversupply on the market's creating an illusion. 2050 will look like District 9 in South Africa. Yep, Anon saying. Anon in the house. Anon's very important. Someone's asking me what I think about Spain. Spain is right now, their housing market's in a decline too. Right now, if I remember right now, it is down from its peak. I think it's like 7.9% from its peak right now, or 9% in or from its peak right now. Spain is down. Real Kevin Thompson saying by 2050, my condo will be worth $20 trillion. And here's a Greater Vancouver sales to active listings ratio. So it's yeah. Sales to active listings are, yeah, this is, it's the lowest. Okay, well, it's not the lowest. Fine. Let's go back. February 2015. Okay, that's okay. Greater Vancouver condo sales fell to a 10-year low and the inventory doubled. Yes, inventory is still low compared to historical levels, but sales at a recession low. Combined with this largest price decline since the Great Recession and even the lowish inventory may be too much right now. It is too much right now because people would put their places on the market in less than 3 days. It would be sold. But there's too much on the market right now. Toronto condo sales reached 6-year low. Inventory props to 3-year high. Here we go. Same thing in Toronto. Typical condo in Toronto, $522. Up in March, 7.17% from last year. The city of Toronto reached $554,300. 7.87% from last year. The gains are multi-year low, but still very high. But there it is here. And there's the tree right there. Typical condo apartment in Toronto. Here's the annual Toronto condo price change. Remember the anomaly that happened in 2017 that nobody wants to believe happened. So if you sold in June 2017 in Toronto, you're making bank right now because look what everything went. This is the anomaly year. So Toronto does not like to compare numbers to this year here. This is 2017. Toronto never wants to compare to this ever because then it makes these numbers look so petite, if that means anything. And there's the median condo sale price right here. And there's the average cost of a condo and sale price. It's still pretty low in the 905, but it needs to get lower. And then you got Trebe numbers there, and then you have 416 up here. But it is on its way down. Toronto condo sales fall to 6-year low. Condo sales across Toronto reach a multi-year low for the month. Trebe reported 1,965 sales in March, down 9.98% from last year. The city of Toronto represented 1,349 of the sales, down 14.24% from last year. The decline puts the sales of condos and apartments at the lowest level since 2013. Sales are back up to pre-interest rate cut levels, just with much higher debt levels. So, yeah, here it is. Sales to new listings. Look at the new listing spike. Sales are trailing behind. Better than Vancouver is. Vancouver is in. So here's the kicker. Higher inventory levels. With higher inventory levels, better selection to buy, more to buy, right? So when you get high inventory levels, you got more selection to buy, right? I already covered this in my channel. Canadian real estate losing sales print longest losing streak since 2008. We covered that already. And auctions are no longer happening now in New Zealand. I already covered this on the New Zealand wrap-up. So let's get back to my channel and look at some of the housing videos I did. So Auckland selling at a loss. So New Zealand right now, a lot of homes are selling at a loss right now. So if you are in Welland, Auckland, you are selling right now at a loss. UK property asking prices rise, but at what cost? Because they're looking to Ponzi up the lending practices to get more people into the market. Remember, guys, if first-time buyers don't get in the market, it's over. Once you don't get the fresh blood in the market, it's over. It's done. Reality in the American housing market. Very, very key video. This video is so key because it goes to what I was talking about from the beginning of time. And Canadian real estate sales longest losing streak. Sydney prices return to 2014 levels for our friends watching down under in Australia. Sydney's house prices return to 2014 levels. And that's a big one because that's, when I was doing my videos, a lot of people were telling me that I was severely delusional because the economy and, yeah. Okay, we got about over 100 people watching right now. And I want to thank everyone for joining the transmission. Guys, if you want to add me on Skype, go ahead. I want to see if I could get... who do we have? Let's see if Stephen Thomas is alive. Let's see if we could give him a call and see if he could be on the show here. Because I see him here. I see Stephen Thomas here. So he's not picking up. He's probably in the middle of some work session of some sorts. Who else do we got here? Give us a little bit of an update. We got what's his name? Demise Music and Entertainment on last week from San Jose, California. And oh man, I here we go. We got Stevie in the house. Stephen Thomas.
Hi there. How are you?
Good. How you doing? Oh my God, we got an image of you here.
And it's daytime in Melbourne. I hope it's not scaring people.
No, you're not scaring people. Okay, what's going on, buddy? What's going on with in your neck of the woods in Australia with the housing market?
Well, first of all, we've got a federal election campaign on at the moment, and various people are promising various things that don't really make a lot of sense. And I'll just give you one basic example. We've got one side of politics proposing to introduce electric cars wholesale. Mm-hmm. Now, if you think about it, if I'm going to go from Melbourne to Perth, I'm going to need a lot of energy, and an electric car at 300 kilometres as a distance will not allow you to actually get out of the state of Victoria.
Right.
So something has to give. So do you use electric cars? Do you use petrol cars? A combination of two? I don't know. I'm not an engineer.
Okay. But now, I know you work in the financial field. Are people still borrowing against the equity in their homes?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. They're still doing that, just not as much because the financial conditions have tightened up.
Okay, and now that it's tightened up, are you noticing? How are people consuming if they were living off their homes like an ATM machine there in Australia? How are they continuing to consume, or are they just on a diet now?
Well, they are on a diet. I've noticed a lot of coffee shops in Melbourne, where I live especially, quieter at the beginning of a week and busier towards the end of a week. And this has been going on for a number of weeks.
Okay. So people are making coffee at home, or they're just not eating?
No, they're eating. They go straight to the supermarket and don't stop for coffee.
Okay. I get it. And what are people? What do you expect to happen in this quarter right now? Spring was a complete flop in sales. People are not going to the what do you call those when they have those when they have those stupid auctions? People are not going to auctions anymore. What do you see happening in the next quarter with the housing market in respect to Melbourne and Sydney?
The housing market will probably start to cool off for our local winter. So we've probably got Easter as the final week and in any major activity. And then after that, it should start to cool down on a seasonal basis. What I expect is by June, we should start to see some sort of movement materially or significantly upwards in unemployment. Mm-hmm. By then, you should have a fair indication of what's actually going to happen one way or the other.
Right. Okay, so we're going to look out for after Easter weekend, whether you're going to start seeing a little bit of liquidity or movements in the markets, or you're going to start seeing a slow decline.
Yes, that's right. It'll either go one way or the other.
Okay. Okay. Anything we should know? Anything else you could tell us about? Anything we should know about the Australian housing market? Are a lot of people walking away from deposits? It's a popular thing here in Canada, the United States. Are people walking away from deposits there?
Yes, they are. They're walking away specifically in apartment sales.
Okay. Okay.
For it is a lot of them having construction quality problems. I think you had an article on one which was here in Melbourne, in the suburb of Melbourne, where the glass balustrading blew up in extreme heat over the last summer.
Yeah, it was exploding and was falling down on people walking on the street.
Yeah, well, you can't have that at all.
Well, the problem is a lot of that stuff comes from China, so you're not sure, what it's made from, right?
But not only that, they don't have our extreme heat.
Yes.
They can't product test over there what we need to have here.
That's correct. Okay. Well, okay. Anything else, Stephen Thompson?
Yes. Have a close look at property in self-managed super and superannuation generally. Mm-hmm. Superannuation is our version of private pensions. Now, a lot of people have put money into property, into retirement funds over the last 5 years. A lot of them are hurting at the moment because the market is going backwards.
Yes.
In Sydney.
So their dividend payouts aren't happening.
Sorry?
Their dividend payouts aren't coming out, or they're not making it anymore.
No, that's right. But specifically, a lot of these funds are being wound up because of the bankrupt.
Yeah, okay. That's perfect. All right, Steve, thanks for being on the show. I really appreciate it.
No worries. Thanks for the call, Mike.
Yeah, have a good night.
No worries.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So we got Stephen Thomas from Melbourne, Australia, financial analyst, coming on the show from time to time to give us a little insight on what is happening. And, all right, what's going on, people? Guys, don't forget to share one of my videos if you want to be on, if you want to help support the transmission. Okay, who else have we got here? I tried calling Walking Journey. I don't know what the heck is going on with that guy. I tried calling him last week. I hope he's okay. I'm going to call him and just hang up for no reason and see if he calls back. We got Steve the Plumber. I think he's in the sidelines right now. I'm not sure where he's at. I don't know if Steve's still watching the show. Steve, are you there? I wonder if Steve's okay. All right, so we had the Lost Canuck. We had Stephen Thomas on the show from Australia. And our regular New Zealand person that we spoke to from New Zealand unfortunately got a job and had to take down their YouTube channel. So that's why I'm never going to get a job, guys, so I don't have to take down my YouTube channel. No, I work for myself. We got Moby. Looks like I'm not sure if he's on Skype. Let's see if Derek... Oh man, there's so many messages. Like this, guys. I am not trying to avoid you guys on Skype. It's just the amount of messages I am receiving is just phenomenal. So if I can't get back to you, do not panic, guys. I am not trying to avoid you. It's absolutely phenomenal. Okay, let's see what we got going on here. Oh my god, the amount of people on Skype here. So guys, add me on Mike Martins 1980. Go ahead and shoot me off a message where your location is, where you're at, and if you can want to be on the show, I would super appreciate it. We got Dumb Data here. Is Dumb Data still watching? I got you here in Skype if you wanna talk. Kevin Thompson, looks like he's on Skype too. He's on right now. Okay, Ho Chi Minh says, hi, can I talk badly about Spanish people? I'm like, I don't know. Some of the comments in the comment section. I said Lord Humongous said he was going to get Skype for me. Anon, where the hell are you, man? Get on the show. Are you at work, Anon? Can you put me on speaker at your work? Anon's in Sydney, Australia. We want to get Anon here. Come on, Lord. Oh, somebody's messaging me here. Somebody's messaging me in Skype. Oh, we got somebody watching me from Hamilton. All right, we got somebody watching me. My experiences of looking for a house. Here we go. We got somebody else coming on the show. All right, we got... Hello?
Hi.
Hey.
Hey there. Can you hear me? Is my voice echoing back, or am I clear?
No, as long as you lower your volume on your side, I can hear you perfectly. Okay, so how do you pronounce your name? Ajime?
Yeah, you can call me Ash.
Ash? Okay.
Ash, yeah.
Okay, so you said you have buying experience you want to share with us. You're based out of Hamilton, Ontario, right?
Yeah, well, I am, you could call me a newcomer to Canada. I've been here since the past, I landed in BC in 2015.
Okay, so you've been here for a few years. How are you liking it?
Oh, I like it, but I have my experiences. I've pretty much traveled all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband's a shippy. He's a shipping professional.
Okay.
So I've got my experiences, which I come here with. But yes, Canada, I have been coming to Canada since 2000. I've got family in Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
So, but when I landed in BC, you're right. I just could not afford it. Even though we've saved so much. And, like me and my husband, I'm a banker by profession. And believe me, the first thing was I got my license, my banking license. And there we go. Difficult to get a job. So you're right. I hear you very often. So I don't know where people are getting their jobs, or are these even permanent jobs? So my husband came here with a job, luckily.
Mm-hmm.
But he did not stay for long. His company shifted in US, but luckily he's back into his trade. He got a job here because of his experiences.
Mm-hmm.
But we've had as a newcomer, I don't know which newcomers are buying properties over here. I don't know.
Well, a majority of them. I don't know if you remember the article I read that Canada's competing for wealthy Chinese investors.
Absolutely. So I'm an Indian origin, but I have been to around 57 countries in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Being in shipping, I've traveled. We've pretty much experienced different continents of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I know by what means and how people can afford these $1 million houses. And Mike, you're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
It's just new market. I heard your episode wherein people are giving away their deposits.
Mm-hmm.
It is also happening in Oakville, wherein people gave in their deposits. They gave in deposits and just could not close. So they lost their deposits on their houses. So this is very true. And I have been trying to buy a house. I have lots of cash down to pay because there are savings. But I just don't want to throw away our savings into something that is not worth it.
That's exactly. See, you're thinking like me. You want bang for your buck. If you buy the typical house, let's say a typical house in Oakville that's $800,000, realistically should be $450,000, right?
Yeah, it's 1.2 million.
Right.
Can you beat it?
But that same house, like because you've been around the world, that same house, let's say for example in Spain, is 200,000 euros.
Yeah, anywhere. You're absolutely right. Just not in Spain. Anywhere which provides good education. You could go Poland, you could go Netherlands, you could look Sweden. It's like crazy. I don't know what's happening here. And where's the government and what controls they have in the economy? I really wonder what's happening.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's happened is we sold out to the rich investors, and we sold out. We got to a point where the locals here couldn't afford to buy, so they had to bring in people with a lot of money, and we were getting hurt pretty bad because they were leaving a lot of homes empty as investment properties. And when those homes were left empty, it created an artificial illusion of the supply and demand, showing that there's not enough properties being made. Now there's too many properties being made. Now we have an oversupply on the market, and then now they're calling it a buyer's market when it's not, because the typical person still can't afford to get into the market.
So here we go, Mike. I shifted in Ontario in 2016, and I went to one, and I thought that, and I shifted. I rented out a brand new townhome because I said buying a stupid townhome for $700 was just crazy. I just can't do it. I don't have black money, or even if I had that, probably I just can't afford it. It just is beyond my ethics. I just can't buy something which is not worth it.
It's not at 1,000,000%. Realistically, so let's go back. Okay, we're going to go back to this article that I read a few days ago. Now, I want you to hear this. We're going to read it again. On a Bank of America employee making $20 an hour, the other Target employee making $15 an hour, a couple, okay? If both people work full-time, that's a household with $70,000 a year income. A household that income bracket can service a mortgage in a house for $250,000 to $300,000.
That's correct. That's correct.
Yes. But problem is, people are making that much money in Canada. 70,000 US is like 83,000 Canadian. They're making that much money, but they're servicing a $1.2 million mortgage. That's the problem we're in right now.
So you're absolutely right. Absolutely right, Mike. I have been watching you, and believe me, you speak out my mind. You and Former Fist. I also watch Former Fist, and I've been watching. I'm an economist, so I watch a lot of economics. You're right. This is a Ponzi scheme. I just don't believe in it.
But it's such a big scale. It's going to affect every human being living in an English-speaking country.
Forget about anywhere in the world. It's nothing to do with English or anything. I don't understand how come our governments even allowed it in the first place, because they are creating inflation. So when my real estate people talk to me, they hate me. They don't want to talk to me because I think I'm up off my bonkers. So they called me and they said, "Are you looking for a house?" I said, "Yeah, not with a per hour salary of $17. I mean, excuse me, I can't afford a house for $700, right?" So they said, "Oh wow, your husband's really lucky to have you because you think so sound."
Yes.
So I don't know. I feel that people, when they bought these houses on such prices, they were very emotional. They didn't even do proper inspections, and I hear of my friends coming back to me. They have mold in the house now. They bought this house in in places where they now have mold. They're not very happy. Either the houses are very small. So why to buy something you don't like? I'm happy staying on rent. At least I'm not paying any. I know this is my expense and I know this is my earning. And you believe me, we're in the upper echelons. My husband's doing 2 jobs, one full-time and one business. So it's like, even so, after paying taxes, you're not left with much. And look at your grocery bills. You're so right. Look at the carbon taxes. So I don't know which government is working in our favor as in a common man's favor.
See, the government never works in anybody's favor. The government is there to govern. You see?
Absolutely. But you need to tell your representative. We all need to, as human beings, tell to our representatives that these are the policies which are not working in our interests. So people either don't speak out or don't want to, or they're so scared. I don't know. People, they're so scared. They're so scared.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Speak out your mind.
I remember when I lived in Mexico for 2 years, and I remember they tried to pass some sort of regulatory government inspection bill on something in Mexico City, right? So you know what the people did? They protested. They went to the big complex building, the big glass building. They went to the office. They threw the guy's desk out the window.
I think I saw one of those videos. Did I? Right?
And they threw the guy's desk out the window, and they threw his filing cabinet out the window because they're not going to imply that tax, period. And that's how it is in Mexico. The people stand up and saying, we're not paying for this.
And look at the carbon tax. They don't even know how much tax it is. So is it a leak? Anything that is a tax has to have an amount associated with it, which it doesn't. Ask, Did you have in the parliament in session? It's like, excuse me, they don't even know what tax is it, what amount is it.
Did you?
So then they give you the carrot of some amount is going to be returned to you.
Uh-huh.
First of all, I know what I'm going to be charged as a tax, right? As a
Yeah.
tax, if it is a tax, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm supposed to know what amount it is or what percentage of what income. I mean, and then it has a hidden HST which is going to be charged. You don't even know how much of HST you're paying. So you're paying a tax and a HST on that tax, and that is hidden. So you don't know what you're paying, right?
Well, did you hear when I was reading my gas bill?
I know, and that's all going to come, right?
I was reading my
I
gas bill, and I
I
I think this winter I paid $1,100 in carbon tax.
So that's it. So do you even know what is carbon tax? Do you have a
It's on my bill. I was, if you go to my channel and search my channel for gas bill, I made like 5 videos of my gas bill. Every time I get a gas bill, I read the bill, and the carbon tax, I think I'm around $1,100, $1,200 for the year.
so they said so specifically this is the carbon tax on a gas
It
bill?
is on the bill. I actually show the bill in the video. I'll even search it. I'll go to my channel here so anyone else could see it here. You go to my channel, you go here, and you type in gas bill,
Okay, so
and it
that's
should come up. Let's read my gas bill right here. And this is the one where I actually show the gas bill, and there's the carbon tax there. I think it's $143 for the month. And yeah, and there's
just
the other one
carbon
here
tax,
where I'm
right?
actually reading my bill out. So there it is there, right there. So we got a delivery charge of $125. We got a transport charge. We got an access charge. We got I don't know, my bill was $466 for 31 days.
So where is the carbon tax?
It's here, hold
Show
on.
me that.
Other charges, delivery, it's over here. It's right here. Municipal clean levy carbon tax. There it is.
Oh, they have.
$50.23 for that month.
Can you believe it?
Yeah, that's it right there. 28.9 gigajoules at 1,000 whatever. And then there's a clean levy tax, and then there's the municipal operating fee tax.
So, and there is an HST on top of that tax also.
Yeah, there's
Is there?
2 different HSTs.
Okay. So this is it, there's a tax on a tax on a tax.
Mm-hmm.
So I know we already paying for these charges, and I don't understand the carbon tax on something that this is a necessity, right? Heating is a necessity in Canada.
Well,
Am I on a different page, or I don't know, either I'm from a different world, or I don't know how I look at the world. This is something which is a necessity.
Well,
And
remember
this
when I
is
was talking about necessities today? I made a very important video. Did you see the video I made today? That's very scary. It actually scared me. It's called. It's right here. It's called. It's on their videos here. YouTube's acting weird today. It's called. Are you ready for this? Diabetics rationing insulin, and people are dying in big numbers because they can't afford insulin.
work. Yes, I saw that video, and it's so very bad because you just can't make money off people. And forget this, believe me or not, I've been watching Marketplace, and there they've come up with issues like charging parking fees on hospitals, right? Charging ambulance fees, and everything is different depending on the province. So I don't know. It's like you're trying to charge money, and the people, I saw a video on Marketplace wherein they charged them $7,000 for a daughter who needed to go to a hospital regularly, and she was no more. Like the daughter is still no more. It was a little baby, and like you just can't charge people things which they need to survive. You just can't charge taxes, and then they say that we're collecting these taxes and giving it to lower income groups. Mike, I don't see that happening.
No.
Believe me, you.
No, it's
I
something.
don't.
There's a bigger plan.
And then did you see that? And did you see those how many billions? 12 or what? My apologies, I don't have the right figure, so I don't want to quote. But did you see the amount being given to Loblaw for
Yes.
those?
Didn't you message me that?
No, did I message that to you? No, I didn't.
Because somebody messaged me that they gave so many millions to Loblaws, and Loblaws has done nothing. Yeah.
read it. And then there was something in the budget this year, in the federal budget, wherein they tried to put in a financial budget. They tried to put in something that with SNC Lavalin, wherein they were deferring their. They came up with a clause which was a legal clause
Hmm.
put in a financial budget. So I see things happening. My gosh, and people just don't want to talk about it. Why is that so? This affects all of us, right?
It
We're all
does.
human beings. We're all human beings, right?
We are, and it's all hitting close to home, and it's scary because I have children, and I'm worried about their well being. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. I have one myself. So you're absolutely right, Mike. I am a person who I'm a people's. We're all people's person. We all want good for each other as human beings.
Hmm.
We want to connect with each other. We want to connect with each other's problems because if you face it, I face it too.
That's right.
It's,
That's right.
I'm not going to be different from you, right? As a human being, we're all in it.
We
So
are
if we
all in
don't,
it. We all play our part, whether it's good, bad, ugly, or beautiful. Everybody plays a part in this show.
I might be Asian, you might be Portuguese or whatever, I might be Indian, but our blood is still red.
Hmm.
We still have emotions. It's just that we might react differently, but the issues which are not correct should always be highlighted,
That's correct. That's
you
correct.
know?
That's
So that's
correct.
where I really like to listen to you. I really like it. And I think you do bring up the issues. I know you're one of my favorites in the housing markets, and I watch all your programs. I also watch Former Fist, but keep up the good work, Mike.
Oh yeah, thank you so much. Come on, Mike in the night, so we could talk about if you want to come on Saturday night show. It's late there where you are; it's already midnight. But Mike in the night, I will be talking about uh, laws, taxes, and 5G and all that stuff that's affecting our lives.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, just to concentrate on the housing market,
Hmm.
when I go look, I just looked at something last week. When I go and look at houses over here, the real estate agents, I say I don't want to sign up with one particular one. It's not that any of them is bad; they're all very good. But the system is such that it promotes the sellers. They always represent the seller. They don't want to represent the buyer because that's probably where the commissions come from.
That's right.
Correct. So they don't want to think about a buyer. They don't want to think about my interest, because their commissions are actually paid by the seller. Buyer doesn't pay any commission.
Right. That's
So
correct.
they tell me, oh, this is not the price. This was the price 2 years ago. I said, all right. So you're telling me this is the price 2 years ago. So what has changed? What has
And
changed?
but what's happened
My
is the money blinds everybody. Money has been
yes.
money is destroying everyone's train of thought and forgetting humanity and brotherhood and what's more important in life.
Yeah, so what are the banks doing? Well, they've stopped their approvals, but I see people who flip houses. They're still getting the finances. They might be getting it from the B grade. They are still buying. So here we go. So someone told me, okay, how much money do you have to invest? I said, well, I why should I tell you that? Like how much money? I can tell you my budget, but how much money? No. If you have extra money and if you don't want to buy, why don't you lend it out to a subprime, like why don't you lend your money out and a 10%? I said, look, I don't want to work like that. First of all, I don't want to make money like that. And second of all, a person who's not even ready to take. So I'll basically loan money or give it on mortgage to, I don't know what lien will it be, A, B, C, D, whatever, fourth or whatever. So I will loan to someone who, first of all, is not qualified, right? So why must I prop up the market by giving money to someone who's not qualified for that loan?
Hmm. Hmm.
So why must someone get? I said sorry. I very politely I declined. So
Hmm.
believe me or not, I live in a four-bedroom in a rental, and I'm very happy because I know this is my limit. Because taxes, I don't know how they prop up the taxes. That's another big story.
Well, you know what? As long as you sleep well at night and you know that you are doing things right, you have nothing to worry about. But
That's
yeah,
really
but
what I think about, But I refuse to buy something wherein I'm not feeling secure.
well,
I
why,
feel like
but in reality, why are you going to spend 800,000, $900,000, $1 million on a house that's realistically worth only 600, $500,000?
absolutely. You just said it.
That's it. You
So
know.
that's it. If the prices aren't coming down, I'm not buying. I'll die without a house. Period.
Yeah, yeah.
But
You're
at
not
least
gonna you're not gonna get a better entry in the next life if you have a house. I don't see that in the Bible. So I think everything's. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And I pay my taxes. I pay much more. I mean, my family is in a high income tax bracket. So I do what I have to do, but that's it.
Yeah,
That's it. God me. But I refuse to do something which is against my ethics and
that's
prop
right.
up this market by just going crazy. They think, oh, if I like a house, they said, don't you like the house? I said, yeah, I do love the house, but I don't like the price tag. Period.
Yeah. Yeah, you want
It's,
something realistic. You want prices to come down to reality.
no, so Hamilton has a similar price tag of one. So I don't know. How can they? No, but they say that no, you can't compare the area. You can't compare it with area. I said, sorry, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
I can't pay something for in Hamilton that I was paying in Vaughan. It doesn't work like that.
No, but what's happening is people are paying. What's happening here is people are paying like Beverly Hills prices, right? In Vancouver, and it's Vancouver. Who cares?
Yeah,
Why are you
who
paying
cares?
Beverly Hills prices? You're not living in Beverly Hills.
And you're not working in a film and getting all those
Yeah,
inverted
yeah,
salaries.
exactly.
Yeah, so you're right. And I usually ask them this question. I ask them one thing. Tell me, what is my dollar worth? Like that 2 years ago, if my dollar could buy a house for 370 and that house is now gone up to 700, that means they devaluated the dollar so much.
Hmm.
That means that's the inflation, right? But
Well,
that's not.
it could mean that it could also be a supply versus demand issue, which was fake, making it seem that there wasn't enough supply to meet the demand and bringing up the prices, artificially bringing up prices through record low interest rates too caused that.
Yeah, but who was paying for the interest rates? We not getting any money. My in the bank, you're not getting any interest,
Oh,
right?
you
So
get
you
nothing in the bank. No, the bank is going to go negative and start taking your money.
Yeah, so that's that.
Yep.
So they're devaluating their own. So basically, a country, the dollar is devaluated. If you're increasing a price of any commodity, be it food, be it anything, it's actually inflation, right?
That's correct.
So if the house prices increases, people living in their house need more salary. If you need more salary, your food prices are going to go up, and so on and so forth. So it's a vicious circle. So
Oh,
what are you
we you
actually
forgot
doing?
one important key element. Property taxes go up with it too.
Absolutely. So you're propping up everything. So eventually, you're losing your dollar is losing its value.
Hmm.
You're making your dollar lose its value.
Yeah,
So the
but
bank,
the thing is, if you got a good buying, let's say you have 400,000 Canadian, let's say 300,000 and 330 US, 330,000, you could buy a really nice place in Fort Worth, Texas, like a nice detached 4-bedroom house with the pool for that much money, like a big house in a nice cul-de-sac.
so
So
that's correct.
your money goes further, but not in Canada.
Absolutely. So I refuse to do it. And even though I might have those many dollars, but I refuse to buy something and put everything into a house and then just be left with nothing, no
Yeah.
security.
No, I feel what you.
Right?
I feel.
And so everybody asks me, all the real estate agents ask me, why don't you pick up a mortgage and keep the money in the bank? I said, sorry, nobody gives me a lunch for free.
No,
This is
no.
money, buy what I deserve, and I buy what I have, and I buy what I feel is rightly priced.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't see a case in point where a property price just goes up, where actually it goes down. It takes money to even upgrade it. And I've seen your videos. You need to invest in your floors, your paints,
Hmm.
uh, plumbing, your electricals. So I don't see a case in point where a 10-year-old house or a 5-year-old house is going to cost me more,
No.
even equal to a newer house. And they say, but the new one is not available. It's not currently ready. So they come up with different reasons. They come up with different reasons. Believe
It
me, you.
it's all lies. It's
Yes.
all lies. It's all lies. It's a scheme to it's a scam to get your money and that's it.
And another thing, they'll push you to the corner. They'll make you feel as if you're nothing. So then you react and go for it.
Yeah, that's why I don't get myself in those situations. You know what I'm saying? That's why people shouldn't get in those situations and don't take nothing personal and just walk away.
So that's it. I just keep my relations good, and I just don't react. I said, sorry, I'm not the emotional person you're looking for.
Yeah, good to know.
Period.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I want to
Well,
appreciate you for coming on and giving us your experience. It means a lot to me that you came on and took the time to come on tonight.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. I much appreciate it. And thank you once again.
Yeah, come on, Mike in the Night, if you want to give us some predictions of what's going to happen.
Yeah.
If you can,
I,
if you're
I,
watching Saturday nights, I know it's late there, but Mike in the Night's a good show. We had last week Mike in the Night. If you go here to my videos here to Mike in the Night from last week, I think I had 13 or 12 or 13 people call in. Last week's show was your prediction call-ins, where people would call in with their predictions where things are going to be headed.
I saw that, and I did hear all your participants giving a prediction on various things. Yeah, that's nice. I would like to take part in that
Yes.
too. If I'm home and it's Saturday, I'm reading in the bed.
Yep.
Definitely, I'm going to be on your channel.
Okay. Thank you so
Thank
much, and you have yourself a good night there. Okay.
Good night.
Ciao. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so we got Ash from Oakville, Ontario, where Kevin Thompson lives, in the comment section here. Gordon Smith is asking somebody in the comment section, do you wear a sandwich board during work hours? That reminds me of the guy from Breaking Bad, if you remember the guy wearing the sandwich board. I'm just reading, it looks like there's people disputing here in the comment section. So, okay, guys, that was a great caller. Great caller. Came in, gave us some good, solid feedback on what's happening. And what else we got going on here? Let's see if we could get... Guys, message me. She messaged me. I got her on the show. Message me on Skype. Mike Martins, 1980. Where's Steve the plumber? Stevie, where are you, buddy? Been talking for an hour and a half. I'm falling asleep here. Stevie the plumber. When was the last time we talked on Skype, dude? I think we talked on Skype the other day. Why aren't you here? You should be the first one here. There he is. Let's see if we can get Steve on the show. We need to know what the hell is going on with the repossessions that have been happening. No more auctions in New Zealand. New Zealand homes are selling at a loss. Commonwealth Bank underpaid 8,000 workers by $4.8 million.
Hello.
Who the hell is this?
Steve.
What's up, buddy? How you doing? You okay?
I'm doing all right. Just exhausted. It's been a crazy week. Really, really busy.
Yeah, I heard we spoke the other day, and are foreclosures on the rise?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we've definitely seen an increase in securements of people's houses, so on and so forth. But again, it's a lot of foreign nationals that are walking away. But then, you know what? This week has been, we've had Canadian proper start to lose their houses as well. I think unemployment is about to take a turn for the worse, and our unemployment numbers are not too good, as we last saw. Not to mention inflation is running pretty heavy. If inflation continues to rise and we get over that 2.5%, he will have to raise interest rates. And regrettably, good night, Irene. Not much anybody can do about it. Right now, the 5-year fixed rate is coming down as a direct result of it being tied to bond yield. But that's definitely going to change if inflation runs away on us.
Yeah. Our problem with this is the major issue here is record low interest rates have been keeping this crap together for all these years, because record low interest rates that we've never done historically for this long, we've created a Frankenstein monster. Now, what do we do now? We used to leave our economies running on autopilot, and we'd let things happen instead of the government coming in and doing, here's your first time loan. Let's lower rates again. Here's your interest only mortgage. Here is this. Here is that. Before, we never did this kind of garbage. Now we're doing it, and now how bad is Frankenstein going to get mad Steve. It looks like we created a Frankenstein, and how do we kill this Frankenstein?
Well, as it sits right now, they're trying to, and I mean, let's go back a minute. I think it's fair to say that if you think otherwise, you have to be a complete dummy and a fool. I think it's fair to say that we are in a real estate bubble. And the bubble, as we know it, they are doing everything in their power to let the air out of the bubble very, 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 very slowly. Because if they pop it, it's just going to be a house of cards and come down. Now, go ahead.
I was going to ask, how do they let it out slowly? I guess they started slowly raising interest rates, and then they got scared and they pulled back.
Well, they didn't necessarily get scared. What they did was they raised interest rates to ultimately stop the party and stop people from taking on debt, so on and so forth. Because if interest rates stayed artificially low and continue to stay low for an extended period of time, even more than it already has, what ends up happening is house prices keep going up and up and up and up. And then all of a sudden you start getting, the people start making money, and they start going ahead and using their, principal residence exemption, and they start making tax-free money, and they don't like that. And I don't want to turn the gears or digress, but the Raven the other night brought up a very, very interesting point about cash. And he seems like a really, really intelligent guy. And I'm sure he's done his homework, and we've just hit the surface of what a wealth of knowledge that guy may or may not be. But, in terms of cash and whatnot, I firmly believe that I'm not going to call it a conspiracy theory, but they kept rates low. They allowed people to take on an astronomical amount of debt. And, as things proceed and house prices continue to come down and come down and come down, all of a sudden you're going to see all these people that were never qualified to have these houses to begin with, all of a sudden having to declare bankruptcy or go into consumer proposal because they can't afford these loans. They no longer have, cash reserves, and that's how everything is going to go into a cashless society. There are other factors, but he's absolutely right on the money.
Yep. We got him in the comments saying right now they will lower rates to curb inflation. Trump will print money to create the wealth effect and get reelected. Then lights go out.
Okay. Well, I mean, they will go ahead and lower rates to a certain degree. But if inflation starts to go crazy, you know what? That's a situation where they could actually raise rates as well.
Well, they have, but Steve, we've been talking about this for over 2 years that they need to raise rates. They have to adjust. They're not adjusting. They're not making these. The problem is the housing market is the core problem to this whole thing. The problem is the quantitative easing plays a part, right? And lowering the interest rates is the key component here because it raises up asset bubbles more than what they're realistically worth, right? So people are paying $1 million for a house that's realistically $300,000, and this has been going on for 2, 3 years, 4 years now. Now, it's gonna have to make some sort of a correction because now that there's no more money coming in from China to buy up these houses, who's gonna buy them? The Australian proper, the Canadian proper, the UK proper? They can't afford them on a doctor's salary.
Well, it's actually quite funny. The average GP can't afford $1 million mortgage, Mike.
What's that?
The average GP, like your family doctor in the Greater Toronto area, can't afford to buy a house for $1.2 million, $1.3 million.
Of course they can't. Of course they can't. They could if they live somewhere in the southern states, but not in Canada.
Oh, absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree with what you're saying, and it makes perfect sense. That said, we have a situation here where banks are sounding the alarms. Credit, as we know, we're at the end of the cycle. And when you're at the end of the cycle, things start to really, really, really contract, and they stop lending, and they start saying things because it's the truth. And on BNN, as much as Benny Tall, their economist, came on and said, the stress test needs to be revisited, so on and so forth. You know what? You're damn right. It needs to be revisited for the purposes of CIBC's book of business, because they can't lend to all these unqualified people. And what happens is this stress test is making sure and protecting these unqualified people from getting in to these agreement of purchase and sales and acquiring these overpriced real estate that they won't be able to afford.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
And Mike, if you pull up the article right now on BNN, forget about Benny Tall and wanting him to, go ahead and basically, revisit the actual stress test. We all know his second and hidden agendas. His bank's doing really bad, and it's all going to come out in the wash and come to fruition. Mike, if you go to BNN, CIBC economists warned. Did you read that article? What did they warn about?
Hold on.
What did they say, Mike?
Give me a sec. Hold on. BNN. Okay, crisis. Where do we go again? Investing real estate, right?
No, it's not going to be that. It's probably going to be. It's probably going to be in the economy. And the Raven's right. It's worse than they are saying. It's a lot worse. It's crazy. They're trying to battle this guy, Steve shorting the stock, so on and so forth. There's a number of different things. But yeah, let's go to BNN together. I'll just do that quickly here. Hang on a second. Just get through, where are we here?
Look at the price of gas. Holy smokes.
Insane, eh? You're feeling it out there, that's for sure.
Luckily, I only drive 2 kilometers a day, and I could use my bike if I really need to. So Cotton Candy Beard is saying bungalows built in the 1950s shouldn't be selling for over $1 million in the first place, regardless how much credit is available in the housing market. What turned into a stock market in Canada. Yeah, no, a detached bungalow built in the 50s, a 3-bedroom and a 2-bath, should realistically be going for like $330,000.
Yeah, thereabouts. Okay, Mike, I got it here. Go to BNN under investing, April 16th, 2019. Canadian banks on credit doomsday watch. CIBC analysts warn. Out of the 125 people that are on the live chat right now, this would be a very, very good indicator of where the Canadian banks as a sector are heading.
Canadian banks on credit doomsday watch. CIBC analysts warn. Canada's bank sector, where was that? Bank sector could be vulnerable to loan losses as credit conditions worsen, according to the new report from CIBC Capital Markets that calls the situation hardly apocalyptic, but still networthy. Given the age of the current cycle of the soft Q1 of F19, first quarter of 19, reports that most banks saw notably weaker loan loss provisions. It does feel like the minute hand on our credit doomsday clock moved a little closer to midnight. Not to signal that the end of humanity approaches, but that the end of trough loan losses is coming. CIBC Capital Markets analysts Robert Cedrin, Christopher Bailey, and Marco G. wrote in the note to clients on Tuesday. While the analysts did not specifically reference short sellers who have recently taken aim at the country's lenders, their take on the sector comes aimed, of course, warnings that Canadian bank stocks will soon come under pressure. So they call it the Great Canadian White Short. Instead of calling it the Great Canadian White North, they call it the Great Canadian White Short. That's what they call it down in the United States. CIBC analysts said that the Canadian banks appear to be headed for their weakest credit cycle since the oil price collapse, which caused related loan losses to jump in 2016. While their predictions not coming apocalypse, the reports said the bank loan losses last quarter had one-off feel to them, a one-off feel to them that could become more frequent. Stevie, there?
I am.
While Canada is not seeing meaningful economic downturn in quite some time, Canadian banks, that is, remain cynical businesses that are built to absorb the pain when it comes, not to avoid it. So, right now, banks are obviously, a lot of them are on the hook for a lot of bad books, a lot of bad mortgages, a lot of bad crap, and
Mike,
a lot of bad lending practices.
Mike, they're getting creative with the verbiage and what they're saying and how they're trying to get, across to people so they don't set in panic. But the fact of the matter is, come out and they're starting to warn and they're starting to say certain things. It's already too late, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to end really, really bad. And I'm telling you, they will need some sort of a bailout. And it's going to be on the backs of the taxpayer.
Oh, well, that's for sure. Yeah, that's definitely for sure. A taxpayer is going to obviously flip the bill. The taxpayer, the one that's not involved in this whole crap, Steve, are usually the ones that pay for it.
Absolutely, because they're liquid, they're prudent, mm-hmm. And that's what ends up happening. Right now, you have no idea how many repossessions, foreclosures, power of sales that are happening at the moment, and you also have nobody has any idea. It's absolutely crazy the amount of people that are denied on their renewals.
Yeah.
Just
what are people going to do if they can't refinance? What are they going to do?
Well, you know what? Whether it's they owe back taxes, whether they have second mortgages on their property, or they've maxed out their heat locks, that they can, there's people right now that have second mortgages and they're playing the tic-tac-toe game. 1 month they pay their first mortgage, the next month they pay their heat lock, okay? And then the following month they pay their second mortgage, and then they do it all over again. I'm seeing it right before my eyes. It's absolutely insane. I've seen paperwork from the bank. It's absolutely crazy. They've gone ahead and created a separate category for these types of people. And these types of people are barely getting a 1-year renewal. In actual fact, in more cases, they're getting 90-day renewals, 120-day renewals. That's all that they're getting. The banks do not want to extend them terms because they're trying to give them, obviously less terms, less of a lock-in. They're immediately raising their interest rate because they now have risk, and they're trying to price in risk on something that there is no risk because it's already inevitable for a default.
Oh yeah, it's already burning. So they're waiting they're just waiting for it to fall apart so they could start cleaning up the mess.
Absolutely. So I mean, why they got into these these problems or these debts? It is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. But if you just do the simple math, if Mr. and Mrs. Smith have $250,000, $300,000 to put down on a mortgage, and let's say for argument's sake they have a combined household income of, call it $150,000. Mike, that means they can only get, that's with perfect credit and all their ducks in a row and hardly any debt. Let's just be generous and we'll say it's $600,000. So their max purchase price, okay, which is irrelevant for this conversation, but their max purchase price would be somewhere in the tune of $800,000 to $850,000. So if they've maxed out and they've gone ahead and they can, they've taken on as much mortgage as they possibly can, and 6 months later, a year later, they take out a heat lock and they go ahead and get their house evaluated or whatever, and they leverage themselves again. My question is, if their actual income has not changed, How are they making payments? How are they affording this? Why are they being able to get these additional, second mortgages or home equity lines of credit?
Well,
it makes no sense.
Well, of course. But do you remember my story, Stevie? When I own my house free and clear, I have X amount of money to put down on to buy a building. Like I have 80% of the funds to buy the building, and they still decline me.
Well, yes, I understand where you're coming from.
So, but they give it to somebody that's drowning in debt, and they just slap it on with the other ones.
Right, and their financial position hasn't changed.
No.
If their house went up in value, that's great, and they have equity. But then all of a sudden, you're going to give them more of a loan, okay? But their income hasn't changed, so their capacity to repay hasn't changed.
Yeah, I feel where you're coming with this. It makes perfect sense. Okay, so Steve, let me ask you. Let me pick your brain on this quarter. We're 2 weeks into this new quarter. What do you feel? What are you feeling by the end of this quarter? What do you see happening by the end of this quarter? Tell us.
When are we getting? Are they stalling, or when are we getting last quarter results?
Well, you see, they're working on something, right? And they said that they're still working on some peace agreement with North Korea. So until that happens, they're going to give it to us.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, they're stalling the inevitable. They're trying to get creative with
or maybe when we reach the moon, or when we reach Mars, then they'll give us this quarter's numbers.
Yeah, because last quarter's numbers, what they actually say is we're in a recession.
Exactly, and that's what we've been talking about for the last year.
Absolutely. So at this point, they can get creative all they want, so on and so forth. But if they came around and said that we had positive growth, you know what? They got to be lying. There's just no way. There's no way. This quarter up here, you know what? All of a sudden we got a carbon tax. That's hitting people hard. Really hard. We're seeing property values decline. We're seeing job losses hit. Mike, it's here. We have the data. They're trying to massage it, and they can only do so much.
Well, we got the Raven here saying they are stalling on Brexit. Why are they lining things up?
Sorry, what's the Raven saying?
They are stalling on Brexit, right? And he's saying, why are they lining things up? Because Brexit is the make or break deal for the UK to be free from the European Union, right? And right. They keep blaming this housing crisis on Brexit in the UK, and everybody else blames Donald Trump. But in the UK, they blame Brexit. But all these things are lining up for what? The perfect storm? What are they waiting for?
Mike, that's a very good question. That's the multi-million-dollar question. I have no idea what they're waiting for. We can sit here and go around, in circles, or go around the table 7 million times. Everybody's going to have their predictions. Somebody's going to be right, but all I can tell you is whatever's happening, or whatever they're lining up, or lack thereof, it is going to end negatively. It is going to end badly. We are at the end of the credit cycle. Okay, we've been in Canada. We've been going on strong with minor hiccups for 20 years. Okay, and we need that reset button. It's absolutely going to happen. Regrettably, I think it's going to happen. On the Conservatives' watch, because let's face it. I doubt Mr. Trudeau has a standing chance, and the Conservatives will probably form. At least, a minority government, more than likely a majority. It was nice to see that happen in Alberta. Let's get things moving. Let's, get things pumping along again, because Alberta, there's people starving there, and you take that statement literally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, I hear you. I'm hearing you loud and clear, brother. Hearing you loud and clear. Oh. All right. Are you going to be on Mike in the Night if you're awake?
Yes, I will more than likely be on Mike in the Night. Obviously it's family festivities this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I can break away, Mike in the night, absolutely, I will definitely be around if you desire me to be on the show, Mike.
Sure. Okay, Stevie. Thanks for your insight. Thanks for your input. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Good to be with you, Mike, and have a good night. And hopefully somebody else calls in, and maybe the Raven can call in and support something that I'm saying. Anyhow,
yeah.
Have a good one, Mike. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Good night. Guys, that's Steve the Plumber. Been on the show since pretty much the beginning. Calling in on the show on a regular basis. And let's see who else we got here we could call into the show. Who is watching? Who is messaging me? So we got quite a few people calling in tonight. Really good. We need somebody in New Zealand to cover New Zealand and what's happening. I need someone. I am covering New Zealand from what articles we're allowed to receive, but I would like to get somebody down from New Zealand once in a while on the show to give us an update on what's happening with the black mold, with the meth testing of the homes, with the Kiwi Build program, if that's coming together. And let's see what this Yahoo here has to say.
Make our way to bank earnings season here in Canada. We're still about a month away. There are some growing questions about whether or not the Canadian banks are going to have to set aside more money for bad loans. There is a fresh call from an industry watcher on what's going on behind the scenes, and Paul Bagnall's got those latest details for us.
That industry watcher is Robert Sedran at CIBC. We often speak to Robert on his views on the banks. He does not reference the call made recently by Steve Eisman, or not at least in the portions of the report that I've read. He does not reference the call made by Veritas Research here in Toronto, which went sell on all 6 banks. But Robert Sedran does address this concern that credit conditions are getting worse for the Canadian banks, and he does.
I got a really good one in there from Dome Data. This Mike in the Night show, how to hedge against the recession. I'm even writing that down, Dome Data. Yeah, how to hedge against the recession, Mike in the Night this Saturday. I need you guys on the show. I need people to call in. How do we hedge against this recession? So let's keep going here.
Does agree that the conditions are getting worse. He uses a doomsday clock scenario, and he says that his doomsday clock is sitting now 4 minutes to midnight, but he does not define doomsday as an apocalyptic mess on the income statements of the Canadian banks or the balance sheets. He says that what is coming is the end of what he calls trough loan loss conditions. Those are that is the point in the credit cycle when loan losses are at a trough, at their lowest portion, and earnings therefore have been receiving a headwind into that trough from steadily declining loan losses. He thinks that period is almost over, and what he does expect is what he refers to as a controlled increase in loan losses at the Canadian banks. He thinks this could be bad for stocks because he notes that Canadian bank stocks have been remarkably good investments over the years, except when they are being pounded by loan losses. He notes that the banking model is a model that is intended to absorb difficulties in a weak credit cycle, not to sidestep them entirely. There's the financials index, which includes the banks and the life cos here in Canada.
Does he talk about, when he says this could be bad for bank stocks, does he talk about potential downside?
Well, he says it is certainly there. The debate is whether or not these banks are trading with this news priced in.
Yeah.
And he does note that, and I know you've noted, Amber and John, in your conversations with portfolio managers and other experts.
Yeah, guys, yeah, that's good. It's some good, Steve, this is a really good article, Steve, that he brought up for us too. I should have read this. I totally blanked. I can't remember what day he told me about this. I think it was just on Tuesday or Wednesday. Oh, Tuesday. Yeah. I had things to do. He called me while I was driving. That's right. Yeah, it was yesterday. And I blanked on this. I should have read this article when it came out. But anyways. All right, guys. Winding down up to the 2-hour mark. I'm falling asleep. Guys, this Saturday, Mike in the Night, 9 p.m. Western Seaboard time. LA County, Seattle time, Toronto time, Vancouver time. Guys, please join me. This week's show, Dumb Data called it. It's going to be how to hedge against the recession. Hopefully we can have Dumb Data on the show. How to hedge against the recession on Mike in the Night this Saturday. Give us your tips, your tricks, your ideas. How to hedge against a recession. How did you hedge against the last recession? What did you do? Were you too young to remember it? What knowledge could we pass down to the younger generation that is going to be at full brunt of this perfect storm we're headed towards? Anyways, guys, if you want to support the transmission, please share one of my videos and get me out there. And I'd appreciate it very much. It's so many people. Oh, my God. Wow. So many people in the comment section here. I get so many of these notifications per day. It's so good. Over 9,000 subs. Thanks guys for the support. It means a lot to me. Go to my channel and share something, man. Get me out there. Let's get this channel going. I look forward to hearing from Supreme Cannon, Steve the Plumber, the Raven, Lord Humongous, Anon. I want to hear from Cognitive Rue. I want Cotton Candy Beard, Gary on the show too. I want a lot of people to come on the show. I want people to come and start telling me what they have or what they're not prepping. We're not prepping here. We just want to know what you're going to do to hedge against the recession. Mike Martins signing off. Have a great night, guys.